Hey, it's in my wilderness. Just getting ready to make a fire. Gonna give my dog bang cordage a try as a tinder for a tinder nest that is made from cedar bark and wild lettuce flower heads, dried fluffy flower heads. Here's my little piece of dog bang cordage. I'm just gonna kind of unravel it a little bit, but not too much. The dog bang cordage, the longer you let it sit out in the humidity, the worse it gets. It's smoldering, but I'm not going to bother. I've got some chaga, tinder fungus, that I'm going to use instead. I went ahead and took that cedar bark. I mean, this is what I started out with, very thick cedar bark. It's not the real thin stuff. I couldn't find any, but I crushed it up real fine. It took me a while to do it. It seems to be worth the effort though. It's a little tricky blowing those tinder nests to flame. It takes a lot of preparation and patience. Those are the two main ingredients. If you get everything prepared and laid out right, and you make your tinder nest nice and fluffy, and you have some good kindling ready, it works real good. If the wind cooperates with you, it works even better. Some days the wind just blows where it wants to blow. It does help if the wind's blowing, though, I know that now. But that's what this whole experience has been about with fire. All my videos that I've posted recently. Just trying to understand what the different effects weather has on it. Different types of tinder and kindling and how they affect it. Because my main goal here is to find some good natural tinders that I can rely on, and those are pretty much chaga and birch bark. And find some good nest building material, and that seems to be the inner bark of a cottonwood tree that is dead, or cedar bark. And I mix both of them with some other type of material, whether that be dry grasses or wild lettuce flower heads. It seems like they work better if there's something else mixed in there with them. And then just having your kindling already, you know, pencil size, pencil lead size, pencil size, finger size. Just pile it all on in order and it's good to go. Those are the materials that are widely available where I'm at. As far as nest building material, I'm sure you could use just about anything, as long as it's dry and you can fluff it up enough. The dog bane cordage I'll keep on hand. It does seem to work good. It didn't work this time, but it's probably because it's been sitting out and it's so humid today. That's a big part of it. Any little bit of moisture makes a big difference. Even the sweat from your hands, if you're making the nest or you're shredding up the bark for your nest and your hands are sweaty, you're getting it all wet. Once you get it all shredded up, you need to let it sit and kind of dry off a little bit. My little cutting board is seeing some use now, but this side's real nice and clean. One side for food, one side for fire. And I used a piece of cottonwood bark and that worked really good as a baseboard. I found these signs laying around, just thrown about, left by some picnickers that had a reunion or something. One said trash, one said recycle, and one said reuse. And it looked like they had them set up with 3 different trash bins or something. I guess that was the point. You know, recycle, reuse, and trash. And then they went ahead and left their trash out here in the park. That makes no sense. But that's the way it goes. I've had my fun for the day. I think I've found some good alternatives for building fire. I've become much more confident with the ferrocerium rod, and somewhat more confident blowing a tenderness to flame, which is really my main goal. I want to be able to blow that tenderness to flame so that when the day comes that I can get away from a ferro rod and go to a bow drill or a flint and steel or 2 rocks. My goal is to have all natural materials for fire starting and to be able to use them reliably and consistently time after time. But it's a learning process, you know. First you start out with a lighter and paper, then you go to a lighter and natural materials, then you go to ferrocerium rod and natural or man-made materials, and that's what I do. I keep swapping out man-made stuff for stuff that I can find in the field, because that makes my job a lot easier when I'm out camping and stuff. It's less stuff I have to drag in with me, and if something I'm using fails, I can always just go out in the woods and find something else to build a fire with or to eat or what have you. It's pretty nice. Depending on the time of year, I don't have to take a lot of food in the woods with me anymore. I can usually find something to eat, whether that be nuts or veggies or squirrels or deer or whatever. But I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this little fire extravaganza over the past few days. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot.